Hey, what's going on everyone? Happy weekend. So I'm going to get into my EU trade from last week, which ended in around 12R, so 12%. So I'm going to get into it and yeah, we'll go from there. Now this entry or this trade setup was really clean and it's one that I really like taking. So definitely, pay attention and yeah, we go from there. So looking at price, we had this high, we had this huge momentum from this prior trade that we took down here. So we was bullish, so we had a high, a low. We had a bit of a range in market, but then we eventually put in a higher high, so we had a new higher low, which was here. Now we did have this wick here, and this is classified to me as equal highs. It doesn't meet perfectly, but they haven't got to meet perfect. So we have equal highs, so I knew that there was liquidity above, so we can see price came up to take that liquidity, which is buy side liquidity. So we take out the high, and then we have this higher low. We push down, which doesn't really look too momentous on this time frame, and it isn't really. This is what I would classify as sort of a calm, sort of not corrective, because on a lower time frame this is a solid break in structure, but we can see this candle just wicked the low, but then the next candle did close below it, but we did get a wick. But for me, this still creates this supplier slash order block, which I'm looking to get short from. So as we know, we take the last up candle, which would be here, but then we can refine it down to this candle because we haven't engulfed the order block. So this is where I'm looking to get short from. So I'm just going to run it forward. Now, one other key aspect to this trade and why I took it was because we had this low, this higher low prior to this higher low being formed from this high. Price came down to take out this low with this wick. So this is just taking liquidity from this low, from anyone who's in the buys, managing at this low or whatever the case may be. There's liquidity that's been swept from this low. So that's also a good indication for me to see now that liquidity has been cleared. I want to see a nice pullback into my supply zone and then drop to a lower time frame to get involved in the trade. So you'll see that's what happens. So on the hourly we've tapped in. Now at this point I'm obviously on the lower time frame. So zooming all the way out, this is our hourly supply. You can see, I should note also the 15-minute time frame. I did refine it down to this candle here. So on the 15-minute, this is the last up candle before these three candles, showing momentum, which also broke a 15-minute minor structure here as well. So back to the 1 minute, we can see price tapped in. Now on the 30-second time frame, we have price pulling up, pulling back. This pullback is more visible on a 30-second, as you can see. So we pull up, pull back, make a high, pull back, make a new high. But I did take the entry on the 1 minute, but knowing we have structure breaks or structural points in this move here. So as price came down, we pulled back and we broke. I was looking at this point here as a low. We come down to test it. We pull off and then we break. So for me, this is still a breaking structure, but it would be this move here. So zooming right in, I'm just going to mark on the last up candle, which is here, but then I would take the refined candle here, and I did set an entry on this with a stop loss. It was 2.5, it may have been 3 pips, But you'll see we don't get tagged in. And then at this point here, let me take that off because we've broken structure. So we pull back. Now I was happy with this this entry because, sorry, my phone was just going off. Just turn on silent. Anyway, I was happy with this because we showed this move down, you know, leaving a bit of imbalance, and we've clearly broken this structure here. So we've now pulled back and we've broken structure again. So I'm looking at the last candle, the last up move, which is here, before that lovely break from this structure here, okay? So as I didn't get tagged into this trade, I cancelled the order once I see this break structure. And you know, we've got to adapt to what's happening. This is not always going to be tagged, okay? So we've got to adapt to when price is breaking structure. So entry was set on this one. I think it may have been 2.5 or 3, I'm not too sure, but we'll soon see from what the result is. So I set this on at the order block and we push down, but this isn't a structure break. We pulled back here, but it's not really a structure break, and this break here is not, it's not showing anything, you know, too significant, whereas you can see this has left a clear imbalance on this candle. So I left it on that. We then pull back into the trade, so tagged in here. Now at this point, how am I looking at managing this trade if, you know, we pull off? Well, we can classify this as, you know, a 1 minute swing low. So I'm looking for this to be broken before, you know, managing this trade. So you can see we get a nice reaction and we break structure. So at this point here, I'm locking in just below my entries because I have a bit of commission to cover. So I'm just below, you know, point something of a pip, whatever it is. And then I'm moving to the 5 or the 15. Now, I am looking for areas where price may react to. So on the 5 minute, I can see we moved up nicely, you know, nice momentum here. So we have an area where price could, you know, react from. So I am keeping this in mind as we go. You can see we do sort of pull back and then we do push up. So I'm looking for this to be broken. And at this point, as we, you know, we're seeing this range in market, I will be on the 15, just waiting for that low to be broken really. Now being aware it's coming up to, I think it was news. I don't really follow the news. I just focus on my setups. But this was caused by news. As you can see, we impulsively came down, taking out this low. So at this point here, with news candles, what you can either do is partial your trade or just trail your stop loss. Now you know that I just trail, I don't really partial because I like to take all my profits. So once we had this, broke this low, I'm at this, the high of this news candle, okay? So locked in 6R and running around 14, lows of 18. Okay, so now 15 minute, I believe I was on the, no, I think I was on the 15. So now I'm just waiting for a bit of structure. And as you can see, we pulled back and we broke this low. So we broke this bit of structure, that one. So then I could have put my stop loss at the high of this candle, but I used this one here as where I want to try my stop loss to. So this should be around 12R, which it isn't. So that means I must have used a let me get that correct. Yeah, 2.5 pip stop loss. I'm not too sure what I use now, but if we just carry on, we do get taken out. See, price comes back up and takes me out, but it was around 12R, or just below it, and that was a trade. So going to the hourly, you can see what caused the reaction from this area was this demand level, because you can see we had this consolidation range and then we broke structure, which was this high here. So that's why we sort of reacted from this area. Now looking back, I could have managed this a lot better on on the 5 minute, sort of managing more aggressively, because I knew that we was tapping into a demand level. But we're not perfect, and we just need to manage how we see fit at the time. Now 12R is still a great trade, and it's still compounding for a really good week for myself. So that's the trade. And yeah, the entry, going back to the 1 minute, it's a very clean sort of entry. We tap into a higher point of interest. We can then see we're breaking structure using the 1 minute order flow to get in trades. We tap in to rebalance this candle. Last up move, we mitigate that up move perfectly before coming back, and you can see price never comes back to that area. And then how you manage from there, it comes down to your own preference. But you know how I do it with my trading stop loss. But if you wanted to set a target, say at this order block here, let me just mark it on. So the high of that order block, then you're looking at 24.6R. Now I am still testing what's better, trailing a stop loss and letting profit go, or setting a TP at an area of interest, so an order block, and seeing which one runs better, because I know that this could have carried on, and with a trailing stop loss, then obviously we can trail with the structure. So we could be limiting ourselves, and vice versa, we could be leaving profit on the table. So it's a tricky one, but it comes down to what you've seen in your testing and what you're more happy doing. But yeah, I'll be honest with you and just say that I'm still testing both. But yeah, that's going to be EU, just under 12R. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to send me a DM. And I hope you all have a really good weekend, and let's have a really good week in the markets again for next week.